pressure back on the bowler. The difficulty in these circumstances is they've bowled really well, we've already said that. The pitch isn't particularly easy to bat on, we've already said that. They're left arm spinner, Patterson White, Ethan Brooks on strike. Adam Hose moves on to by Brooks. Hose calls him through for a quick one. End of the power play then, 27 for 3. Not great in terms of runs, not great in terms of wickets lost. Hose just works this one up to long on for a single. In fact, they come back for 2 good running, really good running. Ollie Stone had quite a long way to come in off that boundary at the Diglis end. It's not going to be a big score, I don't think, whatever happens now. The important thing I would say, probably, Joe will no doubt have something to say about this. The important thing is just to keep it ticking over now for the next few overs, as they're doing. Another single there, and put down something of a platform that the batsman can then build on in the last 4 or 5, Joe. What you don't want to do is be 6 down after 10, isn't it?
No, I think actually, I think if you look at the way that there seems to have been a concerted effort to reduce the number of dot balls now, tick over the strike. When the field goes out, sometimes that can make it easier for the batting side when they're under pressure, because all of a sudden you've got gaps to hit. So yeah, you're right. This period now is very old school batsmanship, isn't it? Building in innings, getting the rapids, some kind of platform to launch at the back end, and kind of hope that can do exactly the same in the reverse and take inroads with the new ball and put Notts' middle order under pressure.
Couple of singles at the end of that over from Patterson White. Tidy one, 6 off it. He'll settle for that at this stage. 33 for 3 off 7. It's going to be tough.
Wonderful picture. Sorry, Frank. Wonderful picture on your screens of the
beautiful,
magnificent Worcester Cathedral. Game here a few weeks ago. Actually, it was against Notts in the county championship, and somebody said, "Is that the cathedral over there?" I thought, like saying, "No, it's the latest branch of McDonald's, or it's a Costa or something." What do you think it is? And that for somebody who's been here more than once as well, an ex-player. I won't say who it was, but is that the cathedral? I thought he was winding me up. Lyndon James is on from the New Road end. 7 overs gone. Not much for the New Road faithful to cheer so far. James is bowling 2. Brooks pulls that away on one knee. Only going to get a single. Will Young at mid-wicket position. Just seeing where he's going. He's going back onto the boundary rope. I did miss my fact of the night about Matt Montgomery, who in fact is a German international. Not many of them in county cricket.
No, that is a good fact.
No, he's got hold of this one, but once again, Young is on the boundary, although he nearly gets fooled by a bounce that he's going away to his right, and I can't see there's too much spin on the ball, but it certainly hit something and almost went in not the opposite direction, but a different direction.
Just the way that came off the bat again suggests it's not the easiest wicket to time the ball on.
And similar scenario, almost exactly the same. 2 bounces out to Young at mid-wicket.
Yeah, it could be a low scoring one, couldn't it? One way or another. As you say, Joe, you just got to hope that from a Worcestershire point of view that they get enough of a score to make it so that they can't just be blown away by an early assault.
Nice push and run. Probably only one unless there's a misfield. There is no misfield.
You know, I always think if you get 120, you can be blown away, can't you, in the power play? They come out all guns blazing and get 50. But if you get 140,
150.
get an early wicket or two, it can be a really interesting contest.
I think the thing is here, the wickets can kind of change in characteristic.
In the air, but safe. Couple. Almost back over the bowler's head.
Think about a game we played here. It's actually a 50-over game, but a couple of the 50-over games were really challenging with the new ball, and then as soon as it flattened out and got a bit drier, they became really good wickets to bat on. So, if I'm honest, from a Rapids point of view, I wouldn't mind a low-score slugfest now, as long as the wicket stays the same. Something akin to India-Pakistan.
Yeah. Push into the covers. End of the over. Another good over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off that one. Yeah, it's they're often the more exciting games, aren't they? You know, it's not always 200 plays, 180.
No, it's actually been, and just kind of quickly referencing the World Cup, it's been, I know I am gonna say this given my my occupation, but it's been quite refreshing to see short form games that have had, you know, bowler friendly conditions at times, and it's been nice to see. You know, look at the IPL and it's 280 plays 300, whereas that game at the weekend, India-Pakistan, was just pure entertainment, and there's only 200 runs scored in the game.
Yeah. As you probably know, there was a hint that Calvin Harrison is going to bowl.
Yeah, he's been impressive this season in red ball. Well, in all forms, actually. Leg spinner. Starts with a full toss, though. Only a single. He's bowled very well in all formats. He's also caught well. Caught a couple of blinding slip catches here in the red ball game. Short red ball game that we had a few weeks ago. Again, nicely flighted. Just a single for Adam Hose, who joins Brooks on 9. Is a very impressive emerging cricketer, Calvin Harrison. That one a little bit shorter, just pushed away. And he's got a wicket as Ethan Brooks gives himself room, tries to hit that over the top, and it just wasn't there for it, really. And he is bowled. Excellent start from Calvin Harrison. Just saying, Joe, he's an impressive young man.
Yeah, he is. I think your summary of him, from what I've seen, is pretty spot on. He's took some outstanding catches. He bowled really well against us at Trent Bridge. And he can obviously bat as well. So, yeah, obviously developing into an exceptional cricketer for Notts. And again, kind of highlighted, as we've spoken about already, the value in bowling straight on these wickets that can be a little bit tricky. Ethan had to try and give himself a little bit of room to create a scoring shot, and that's when, as a bowler, your quid's in.
Yeah, so Worcestershire in a bit of a pickle now, really, because at the point where as we were saying, they needed to just sort of steady the ship a bit. They've lost another wicket, 42 for 4, in need of somebody to play a significant knock.
Just kind of looking at the dugout, who's getting ready to bat, and obviously Nathan's come in now, just a slight change in the order. It would suggest that the group think it's a challenging wicket to bat on.
Nathan Smith is the new man. beaten by a good one from Calvin Harrison. What an excellent over that was. The 9th of the innings, just 2 runs from it and a wicket. Worcestershire 42 for 4. Excellent from the Outlaws. I think it's fair to say this is their best performance of the season so far. It needed to be. They've been under a bit of pressure, having lost the first 5, but they have won the toss, chosen to bowl, and they've been excellent so far.
Stone to continue. Push for a single. Haven't had a boundary since the 4th over, and we're now in the 10th. Interesting. Gareth Roderick looks as if he's in next. He's batting way down. There are people who would say maybe he should be batting higher. What I've noticed is next ball from Stone, Smith off the mark. Leicestershire. Sorry, James bowling. Yeah, it is James, folks, not Stone. Leicestershire. That Patel's been opening the batting, going steady, run a ball. Did it against Worcestershire. Did it in the week last night, I think. And he's playing the anchor role, and everybody's playing around him, which used to happen at one time, but doesn't seem to these days. Pushed away on the onside again. Coming back for 2, they're going to have to be quick, and they are quick. James manages to divert the ball onto the stumps, but a sprint back to the danger end by Nathan Smith, who very kindly taps the stumps back in for the umpire.
I think from kind of my experience of being in changing rooms and seeing how the 2020 games developed over the past kind of 5 years, and it moves on at a fast rate year on year.
Push for 1.
What's become kind of very apparent is that dot balls are irrelevant, and boundaries and boundary hitters are the things that win you games. So there's a stat that I think the team, and it sounds obvious, the team that scores the most boundaries wins something like over 90% of games, but that has no relevance on the amount of dot balls faced.
Could be a couple here. Haynes coming in, no is the shout. Crooked shout. Not a great throw from Jack Haynes, but the batsman wouldn't to know that. It could have been right over top of the stumps. So
it might have some relevance tonight, Joe, in that we're nearing the halfway point and there've only been 2 boundaries in this innings.
And you're right, but I think obviously we'll keep account. It'd be interesting to see at the end if it does keep it to be a low-scoring game. It might be that an over of 15 or 20 is the thing that swings it. Now, I say that with a little bit of hope, obviously with my Rapids hat on, knowing that the wickets can get easier here. And if they do get easier, I think it becomes more like a 170, 180 pitch here. At the moment, this would suggest that kind of something more like 130, 140 would be an unbelievable score, especially given, you know, the situation that Rapids find themselves in at the moment.
Yeah, 49 at the halfway stage. I can't remember a score as low as that in the last few seasons in a T20 game. Outstanding from Notts as Harrison continues.
Yeah, they bowled very well.
I think just taken on the pad. Bit of a strangled appeal, but clearly going down. Yeah, they bowled really well, and they haven't been put under any pressure. And every time anybody's tried to do that, they've lost their wicket. This one's sliced away in the air by Adam Hose, just for a single. Jack Haynes, the fielder, out on the cover boundary. The 50 is up. Worcestershire rather limped to 50. Despite the public address man attempting to make it sound like a great achievement.
Ironic applause, I think you could call that, couldn't you?
Lovely sunshine here at New Road. We were worried about the weather before this game, but it's turned out to be fine. Good crowd built actually now, but they are generally pretty glum. As Harrison continues, and another single, this time for Smith. Hard work for the Worcestershire batsman against this accurate bowling. Outfield's quite lush as well, fairly slow. Nice shot by Hose, but again only one. Joe Clark, Notts captain, be very happy that the batsmen are unable to pierce the field. But as Joe Leach has been saying, until we've seen both sides bowl, we don't make too many judgments. Smith just flicks this one away. Another single. Singles aren't hurting the Outlaws at the moment. Just 2 boundaries in the entire innings so far, both square of the wicket. One for Josh Cobb and one for Matthew Waite.
Love Jack Haynes' enthusiasm. He's fielding in front of us on the cover point boundary. Huge appeal for LBW. Round the corner vision. It's wonderful stuff, isn't it? You can't buy enthusiasm.
It might be the optimistic side of my character. But what I would say is, as well as Notts have bowled, and they have bowled exceptionally well, they've not bowled any bad balls. Just the way the ball is coming off the bat suggests that it is a really tricky wicket to time the ball on. You know, front foot shots in particular off the spin there. Hosey sliced one out to deep cover. You know, that's his bread and butter. The amount of times I've seen him park that kind of somewhere a long way away from the stumps.
Lyndon James is the bowler and pulled away down towards deep square leg, gone out of air sight, but the ubiquitous Jack Haynes is the fielder. Gets the throw back in, nearly takes the wicket-keeper's head off with a rather nasty bounce. Hose has 16, Smith has 6.
And am I right in thinking that we're in a not dissimilar position at Trent Bridge?
It's a very good question. My very good friend Mr. Frank Watson is looking through his records right now.
Well, at the halfway point at Trent Bridge, Worcestershire was 69 for 6.
There you go.
So it was worse in terms of wickets, but not so bad in terms of runs.
Stay online, Rapids fans.
Yeah, and it was these two. It was these two who turned it round, Nathan Smith and Adam Hose. An excellent partnership of 82 for the 7th wicket.
He's got that away. Smith into the New Road stand. Only the 3rd boundary of the innings and the 1st since the 4th over. But really clobbered that one.
Great shot. Great shot from Hose. It's what you said earlier, Joe. Got his arms free, didn't he, on that occasion? Just got a little bit of width and got his arms free. Beautiful shot.
Shorter delivery this time. Picks up a single.
Smith, not Hose, of course, who hit the 6.
It is indeed. We know what you meant, mate.
It wasn't a really bad ball, though, was it? To be fair, might just have turned the tide a little bit.
50 balls remaining. 2 a ball. Oh, the scoop. And a very good scoop as well.
It's a brilliant shot, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
That's great when it comes off.
Well,
when it
you know,
doesn't,
it
looks horrible.
But it's a modern, isn't it? It's Adam Hose is such a good T20 player, and he plays all over the world, and he just it's less risky than it might seem, I think, and he just played it beautifully.
13 off the over so far. That will be probably 14. Will they come back for a second? Hose is going to take it on. Good running. Obviously turned, called, scampered down.
So that scoop for me is an indication of someone who plays with Hosey a lot that he doesn't think this is the easiest wicket to hit on, because he's someone who backs himself to clear the ball on any ground in the world back over the bowler's head, and the fact that he's going to that as an option would obviously suggest that he feels under pressure to find a boundary, of course, and from a Knott's point of view that's a positive, but the fact that he's gone to that kind of trick rather than trying to bang the bowler back over his head would suggest that he thinks it's a tricky wicket to hit on.
Yeah, I agree with that. It also makes Nathan Smith's 6 in that over even more impressive, really, to hit it straight down the ground. Patterson White to continue from the Diglis end. Bottom edge as Smith tried to give himself room. Slow bowlers have been difficult to get away, as well as the seamers.
Yeah.
All of the bowlers. Just driven up to wide long off. Come back for 2. Good running again. Runs just beginning to come a little bit more freely. But having said that, the pitch is tricky. You've also got to bowl it in the right place, and they have done that consistently well, all the bowlers. Another one here just clipped up to mid-on, so a little flurry of boundaries in that last over, but Patterson White tidy again so far in this, the 13th. First 2 batsmen in double figures, these two, as I think they were at Trent Bridge. And just another single, well bowled from Patterson White. He's not given them any room at all.
I'll work out which way the wind's blowing. I think it's behind Patterson White, isn't it? So if you're hitting against the wind, you hit into the Diglis end.
This one is a little bit quicker, a little bit flatter. Just tucked away for another single. But that's good for the Outlaws at this point. Just 7 off this, just 5 off this over so far. The 13th of the innings. Gives himself room. Full toss. Driven out on the offside, and a very good diving stop by Joe Clark, the captain at short extra cover, means that there are just 5 off the over. The 7 overs left. Worcestershire 73 for 4. Be hoping they can score at, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 and over from here, you would have thought. Even that would only get them up to about 120 or so, but it would be something if they bowl tight early on, but they would have to bowl tight early on.
I think just that over there, you can try to really watch it and get a sense of what's going on. It's obviously very difficult when you're 75 metres away square, but just the care and attention that each batter had to play just to get the ball down the ground. Yeah. Sometimes you watch 2020 cricket, it's almost nonchalant how people hit the ball off the square.
Harrison back into the attaches down the leg side. I think it's come off the wicket-keeper's
wide.
It has indeed. It's wide called by umpire Russell Bunny Warren. Wide square for a single just in front of the square. I think Bunny Warren was a character in Porridge, wasn't he? Before your time, Joe Leach. Sorry, excluding you from this conversation.
That's fine.
You must have seen it. It's on.
I've seen Porridge.
Okay.
Dave Special.
Yes. We get a single down to fine leg. Ah, leg by, says umpire Warren. The crowd are waiting for the explosion here, aren't they? Is it coming now? Oof. Well, it went a long way down there, Smith, and got this away off a pad again. Kicking their way to a total here, Worcestershire. Needed to get something on it. If he didn't get his bat on, his pad on it, because he was a long way down and was odds on for a stumping. Got hold of that one, but picks out the fielder. It's only a single.
Yeah, it's
Another
really difficult to beat the field, isn't it?
Another over ticking by. Harrison in again. And once again, I think this is another off the pad. Did he get a bat on that? Well, we may never know, but the wicketkeeper Moores went scrambling after it. Couldn't get a glove underneath it. Last ball of the over. 1 run off the bat. That's a good over. That is a really good over. It's the 14th over of the innings. 3 dot balls. Leg boys. And 1 off the bat.
There's 1 left. Wide first ball.
That's a wide first ball, Joe. I missed that.
No, it's so the
No,
umpires.
No,
are
it's
now.
over.
The umpires are confused.
They're checking with the scorers, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and at least we know the total is 78 for 4. It's confused everybody because it's still got 13.5 up, but it is the end of the over confirmed.
Well, I said 7 or 8 and over. There was only 5 off that one. Patterson White to continue. It's the slow bowlers have been even harder to get away than the quick bowlers, I think, haven't they? But that's big. That's the biggest of the night. In the slot from Liam Patterson-White. And Adam Hose hammers that one into the crowd at the Diglis end. First time he's really opened his shoulders, Hose. And while it's encouraging, Joe, it's also a bit worrying.
Yeah.
Because you do wonder whether the likes of Hales and Clark are going to come out and play like that from the outset. But a good start to the over. Hose drives this one on the offside, a bit uppishly, but he's going to get 1 and they're going to come back for 2. And that's really good running as Alex Hales came in from long off. Joe Clark kind of taken the pace off it at short extra with a diving half stop. Means that Hose keeps the strike. 8 off the first 2 in this over.
I think obviously look, they've been trying for 2 or 3 overs to break the shackles, and both of these guys hit it miles, and the fact that they haven't been able to consistently is giving me a shred of comfort here with my Rapids hoodie on.
Full toss from Patterson White, just a single this time, straight to Hales at wide long off.
But you are right to reference Knott's power. It's always a concern when you've got, you know, some of the best players in the world on the opposition.
Nice check drive from Smith, punched up the ground. Hales again the fielder. Another one to the Kiwi, goes to 19. Lovely evening, beautiful sunshine here at New Road. Quicker from Patterson White. Hose just checks his drive and picks a single up to long on. Bowled well, I think, especially after that 6 off the first ball. Patterson White here has varied his pace. Pretty tidy. Can he finish the over? He can with a dot ball. Well bowled. 15 gone. 89 for 4. I always say this with 5 to go, Joe. Prediction. 4 down, 5 to go. Roderick, Taylor. Bit of batting still to come.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, I think it's going to be a challenge, but if you could aim for 10s, get yourself up to 140, that would be, I think that would be a competitive score based on just what we've seen here.
I think 140, I think they'd be happy with that now.
Yeah.
Calvin Harrison to finish off.
1 for 9 so far.
This is driven. It's only going to be a single. Almost directly to the fielder. I think it's Matt Montgomery way over there in front of the hotel. Driven away again. Might split the field here. Good diving stop by, who's that down there? Lyndon James. He dives and deflects the ball to his teammate.
50 partnership.
Yeah. Greeted with rapturous applause. Harrison bowls. This has gone down towards the fine leg boundary off a pad. A wide. Didn't touch anything. I thought I'd rather that brushed the pad, but
Hit the keeper, I think.
umpire Warren says it's a wide one, so a wide one it'll be. 92 for 4. Gone. Oh, a misfield out. Lyndon James misfields. They almost coming back for a second, and in the end they decide not to.
Never run on a
Never
misfield,
run on a
brothers.
misfield. Yeah, so it's just a single in the end. Down the pitch here, he's got that one away into
6.
row D, I think.
What a 6 there. Watch your head in the crowd, everybody.
So,
And
11
with
off
that
this
we
over
have
so far.
overlap for the Rapids.
With 2 balls to go. Where's the ball gone? They can't have lost the ball. There's a whole mass of people there. We have a ball. Why's Gareth Roderick suddenly gone rushing up to the dressing room?
I think he's been stood down, Brad.
I think he has. I think Ed Pollock's been invited to go up the order. It's pulled away. It's in the air.
Out.
It's caught.
Good catch.
Excellent catch. I think he misjudged it first of all, but then dived forward and plucked it out of the air, Will Young, and away he goes. But a good catch. I thought he completely made a mess of that. His feet sort of were going backwards or from underneath him, but then forward he went.
Yeah, really good catch in the end, diving forward.
A strong innings in there from Nathan Smith. 27 from 23 comes to an end thanks to a catch from Will Young from the bowling of Calvin Harrison. Your next batsman in, Ed Pollock.
So 59 that partnership for the 5th wicket. Much needed.
25
Ed
balls
Pollock.
left.
Ed Pollock coming to the crease with the likelihood that we'll see some seam in the last 5 overs or so, which will suit him a little bit better when he faces the ball coming on a little bit with a bit of pace, I think, than against the spinners.
Harrison's last ball of the night, when everybody's ready. Still not everybody's ready.
Just block this one.
Drives it back past the bowler. 2 for 22, I make it. Harrison off 4 overs. Well bowled.
Yeah, really good. And 13 of them came off that last over, I think.
That's a blast. Here's Noel Nally.
That loud music, by the way, is there's a scatter blast, which means that the mascots go out into the crowd and throw T-shirts. There you are, I just saw them on the screen.
I think I'm right in saying that Niall the crocodile is now the younger brother of our previous Niall the crocodile.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Good to know that, Frank.
It's so, you know,
So
if you think the moves are a little bit different this year, it's because
Sounds a bit like David Attenborough in the middle of that.
yeah,
Ben Lister
yeah,
back to ball.
a new generation. Ben Lister back into the attack. Starts with a full wide one to Ed Pollock, which he can't get a bat on. So we're into the last 4. Worcestershire be very happy, I think, to get to 140. Ben Lister. Again. full and wide. And again, Pollock losing his shape a little bit, down on one knee, not able to get anything on it. Contact so important. But as Joe said earlier, Joe Leach, who's alongside us here in the commentary box, dot balls don't really matter, it's boundaries that matter. Look where Ed Pollock's standing now, about a foot outside off stump, leaving his leg stump exposed. Lister bowls wide, and this time he does get a bat on it, slices it away down to third man. Good tumbling stop down there by Calvin Harrison, I think Matt Montgomery in fact, but because he lost his feet in making the stop, Pollock was able to scamper back for a second.
Been trying to have some elaborate sign language with the skipper from 15 metres away to try and get a gauge on what the feeling is in the Rapids camp with the pitch.
Pollock again beaten outside your stump. And that is a wide. I thought that. Lister's not happy because Pollock's moved over and he's bowled full and wide. It's outside the blue tram line, the blue guideline for the umpire, but Pollock has actually started over there. What's your take on that, Joe? Lister's not happy.
Well, yeah, I think what I would say, if there's one umpire on the circuit you don't want to argue with, it's Rob Bailey. Yeah, I must admit, harsh, but take it. To kind of go back to what I was just starting on there with my kind of informal comms with Brett from 20 metres away, and obviously a lot of sign language. I think the Rapids feel two-paced, indifferent bounce, which would kind of play into what we've thought in here. But obviously you still need to put a score on the board.
Single with Pollock there, unable to find the boundary. Just around the wicket toes. It's good over this, isn't it? Full again, that's him on the pad. It's good over because he's not allowed either batsman. Well, Pollock got that one ball where he got a bat on it, but his length has been really full. He's not allowed. He's followed the right-hander. He's got it full and wide to Pollock. He's not allowed the batsman to get their arms away at all. Pollock now just an off stump. Moves across late, drives, but again just a single. Really, really good over from Ben Lister. 17th of the innings has only gone for 6. And that 140 is looking big ask.
18 balls left, 2 a ball, gets some, what, 144. Maybe they think that's enough, but
I think from a Rapids point of view, and just based on what you hear from guys who play in franchise cricket now, they'll be thinking if we can hit 3 maximums in this last 3 overs, that's going to set us up to get 2 a ball comfortably, and that's what kind of feel like the Rapids need. Obviously, slightly tricky surface, or certainly that's how it's looked and how the Rapids feel it's played so far. If you can get upwards of 140, as we alluded to earlier in the piece, hopefully that's enough.
how wide was that? Ed Pollock couldn't get a bat on it.
Well, it was outside the blue line, but he's moved across.
Yeah.
Hasn't he? They've obviously got a plan against Ed Pollock here, all of them. Full and wide, not into his pads, not into his right hip.
Stone, the bowler, and this time, well, you can see that as well as he's gone way across to try and flick that over the infield, and got some bat on it, I assume. It was a leg by, I missed the signal, so basically didn't work. Stone's bowled 14 balls for 7 runs and a wicket.
I think, if you're Ed in this situation, just at the end of the innings, the pressure to obviously hit boundaries, that's actually not the worst option now, is it? You've obviously missed 3 or 4 outside off stump. You've got to try and find a way to make the bowlers bowl in a different
push for 1.
It's not easy if you bowl in the right place, is it? It is not easy.
As we're saying though, you know,
In the bowling.
Hales and Clark, Jack Haynes on his day, get in there, it's Will Young.
Yeah, but they're all struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Not one of them walking out there in good form.
Down to third man, 1 bounce down to Ben Lister.
And I know, you know, they're only, all of them, only 1 innings away from being back in form, of course. That goes without saying, but it will give the Worcestershire camp some encouragement when they gather before they go out there and talk through their plans to say that, you know, these guys are not in good nick. We get a couple of early wickets, we could have a chance.
Nelson on the board. Oh, that's well bowled. That's very well bowled. A slower ball, as slower ball as you could possibly bowl.
I think, I'm kind of thinking from a rapper's point of view, you get to 15, 16 overs and give yourself a platform, you're hoping Notts bowlers miss. Lister and Stone have not missed. They've executed their plans absolutely perfectly.
Last ball of Stone's third over. Oh, he's got hold of that.
That was a miss.
Into the crowd. Probably almost the same place as it went before, row D.
So Frank, on my commentary debut last time here, you said that commentators can talk events happening. I managed to talk Matthew Waite out last game by saying how well he was playing. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
I was explaining, Brad, what we've known for years.
Oh yeah.
The
Sorry, not in your in this case.
But that was a great shot, wasn't it? It was still a very good over, but that last ball just a little bit of comfort for Worcestershire. I agree, both Lister and Stone have been superb.
Ball away this time.
Just too full, wasn't it? Just too full.
Because, well, you know, that's more how I'd like to see Ed play those balls. You know, a lot.
Stand still.
A bit more control. Just hit the ball out the middle of the bat. He's got enough power.
Yeah, he's missed too many of those now, hasn't he?
It's hard work.
Just got to, full lot. Just get a bat on it. Just needs to get a bat on it. But I think you're right. I always feel, I mean, again, this is the old-fashioned coach speaking, but, you know, if you're a hitter, stand still. Keep your head still. If you're moving around, I think it's very difficult.
Shot.
Gets a bat on this one, though, Ed Pollock. Nicely played this time. Slightly slower, I think, from Lister as well. And he walked across and looked for that little scoop. And he got it exactly where he wanted it. Second boundary of the over for Pollock. It's been a struggle, but he's 14 off 12.
And that speaks to kind of the earlier point. And I know dot balls don't matter. If he can be hitting boundaries in between.
3 balls left in the 19th. Drives this one on the offside, just a single. But they're limping towards that 140 that we suggested, even as early as the end of the power play might be. A reasonably competitive total. It will obviously depend on the Worcestershire bowlers bowling well. It will obviously depend on the Worcestershire bowlers performing tidily in the power play, but on this surface 140 might be a bit more like a 165 or a 170 on a more trustworthy pitch. I don't think they'll be looking forward to batting on it particularly. And comfortably at long on, so the end for Adam Hose, trying to go big once again, and a wicket probably deserved for List, but a good catch. Good in the innings, made 43, 126 for 6.
And your next batsman out is Tom Zane.
Didn't miss there, did he? He's bowled it exceptionally well. He hasn't missed at all, hardly.
No, they've been really impressive, I think. The discipline of these seamers have been disciplined, and the spinners have been just tidy, haven't they?
Pollock facing.
That's
He's got
great
that away. He's put that into, well, I just bet the same place as the last 2 sixes went. They start wearing helmets in the new road stand soon.
Dot balls, but as soon as you miss, it's the length you want to hit on this wicket.
Full toss. Only a single though.
Got the 135 though. 3 balls to get to that 140 that we talked about. It may not be enough, but it gives them a chance. And I think if you look at the power play, if you look at 33 for 3 off 7, you'd probably settle for 140, wouldn't you? 42 for 4 off 9. 49 for 4 at the halfway point.
Taylor facing. Got contact on that. Again, only a single though. James the fielder. 2 balls to go.
Yeah.
Pollock on strike. Got 22 off 15. We were saying he couldn't get anything on the wide balls outside the off stump, but he's still got 22 off 15.
Yeah, he's struck. He's kind of caught up with the boundaries, hasn't he?
He's got this one away. Head over extra cover. That's going to bobble away for 4. And a good bit of music as well, like this. So they got the mystical 140 has been achieved.
I think this is going to be a good game.
1 ball left. Let's have a huge cheer for the Rapids, everybody!
13 off the over so far. Pollock to face the last delivery. 3. He didn't get a bat on it, but they've gone through for a bye. Well scampered.
The Rapids finish on 141 for 6.
There you go. Man doing the job for me. 141 for 6.
Ledbury, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Might be coming our way. Ledbury's a fair way away.
Oh, hello, what's going on here? Now, all of a sudden, Alex Sales has backed away. Has he
He's
got a
dropped
fly or a
something,
wasp or something? Finch was almost into his stride.
At the end.
Oh, that's a wide. No, it's a wide. It's not the end of the over, it's a wide.
It does feel like this game isn't going to last that much longer, doesn't it? The clouds are rolling in, and it has just got that feel of rain. Obviously, that puts Notts, deservedly so, in the driving seat at the moment.
Yeah. Finch to bowl the last ball of the over again. And that's a
Good over.
Yeah. Well, 4 off the over, including the wide.
There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on my shoulders. Joe, he got poetic there, didn't he? Clouds are rolling in.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's a worry, isn't it? That 1 wicket, Joe, because they're ahead. Are they ahead on, what does Duckworth Lewis say?
Yeah.
75. They're 1 run behind Duckworth Lewis. So they're in a good position, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's Notts is going to lose really from this point. We spoke about the need for early wickets, and I think obviously the way these two have built this partnership has put them in a really, really good position. And I think Hales in particular, Rapids are going to need to be rid of pretty sharpish.
Yeah.
Hayden Walsh is into the attack. West Indian / American leg spinner. His first ball is driven by Young out on the offside. Athletic tumbling stop.
Of course, Duckworth
by
Lewis
D'Oliveira.
changes if you take a wicket, doesn't it?
It does.
Walsh again. Oh, that's nicely bowled. Will Young, I thought he was going to go for the big shot then. I thought we might have a stumping opportunity, but he just checked.
And I think I've just seen Brett wave to Nathan Smith, and he is the go-to man, isn't he, as far as the Rapids?
Oh, and there is the wicket we were talking about. I think it was the googly from Hayden Walsh. Joe, Will Young going for the big hit, just back through the gate. Maybe an inside edge. He's disappointed with himself, and a wicket for Worcestershire just to keep their hopes alive. Good start for Hayden Walsh.
That looked a fairly straight ball to me.
Just have a look if it's yeah, it's googly hit leg stump. He was hitting with the spin. Whether he picked it or not, I don't know, but it was a googly through the gate. Jack Haynes is the new batsman. And nice start. I just wonder, Joe, and it's easy to say this at this point, I just wonder if Brett is now wishing that he might have given Hayden Walsh a bowl a little bit sooner. Perhaps when Josh Cobb had that over.
Yeah, maybe, but they're the kind of decisions that
you make on the hoof.
Make on the fly. I think from the Rapids point of view now, I hope that they stick with the decision to go with Nathan next over and see if they can go bang bang, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have the Outlaws under pressure. I mean,
and get
Douglas Lewis has already just jumped. It's only a couple of runs, but it does make a big difference.
Jack Haynes pushes his first ball out on the onside, a bit uncertainly. Not easy to come in now in this light.
No.
Under pressure, playing against his old teammate. Elegantly off the mark, however.
It's amazing though, just that wicket and a dot ball, and all of a sudden Notts are now behind Duckworth Lewis. Needing to be 78 at the end of this over.
Wickets really drag you down on the old Duckworth Lewis stern, as we should call it.
Yeah, we should.
Good from Hayden Walsh. Very good over from Walsh. Just 1 run coming from it and a wicket. 75 for 2 off 12. Worcestershire was 68 for 4, so only 7 runs behind where they were.
I was just inquiring of our Malvern correspondent if it was raining in the Principality. Not got an answer yet. If this was a county championship game,
They would be off.
They would not be playing now.
I would not want to be facing Nathan Smith
No.
in this light. I'm not sure I'd want to be facing him.
Better
in
facing him with a white ball than a red one, though. I would
Broad
say.
daylight,
Maybe.
Too much.
I think
Smith
white
LB.
ball against black screen, Joe, probably a bit easier to see than red against white in bad light, wouldn't you say? Don't know. Maybe
yeah,
not.
Maybe. You know, this reminds me of the game we played against Hampshire, the quarter-final.
First ball of the over flicked off the hip. Might come back for two. No, they won't.
Hayden Walsh so quick over the ground.
He's a scamperer. Scampers.
This is actually becoming very interesting. I mean, we've obviously got the broader picture of the game going on 140, but it does feel like it could rain at any moment.
Yeah.
And you keep looking at that Duckworth Lewis. You know, a wicket
A
here,
wicket, yeah.
a boundary,
Yeah.
and the swings of momentum.
Yeah.
This ball pushed. No
Hey,
run.
It's a funny observation, this, and forgive me if you're a Nottinghamshire fan, and there will be lots of Notts fans watching this stream, and I hope they're enjoying it. But in some ways, I would venture that this game is bigger for the Rapids than it is for the Outlaws. I'll try and justify that in a minute. You could argue the other way, that it's massive for Notts because they haven't won one yet. Just single for Hales here, but in Worcestershires case, they've won 2, they've lost 3. If they win this one, it's 3-3, and they're still right in the mix.
Yeah.
They lose this one, then they're out. Whereas not out, but they fall. Their chances are significantly less. Whereas Notts, they've lost 5 already. If they lose another one, it kind of the season's a bit of a write-off. That said, they could win 6 on the trot, of course. But in some ways, I just feel that this might be a little bit bigger.
3 balls left in this over. Duckworth Lewis says 84 at the end of the over, so it would have to be 85 for them to win, and they're 7 runs short of that. Changing the field is
If you think I'm
wicket.
If you think I'm talking rubbish, Notts fans, let us know.
Okay.
At Frank Watson 58 on Twitter.
Inside edge, racing towards the boundary, won't get there, but they will come back for 2.
He didn't know a lot about that, did he?
Walsh the fielder down there. There's some sheets on the far side that the groundsmen have put over there. They're beginning to flutter in the breeze. They're beginning to lift up. So the wind is getting up. You see the tops of the trees. The trees along the river seem to say, "You'll only break my heart in two if you decide." Is it decide to stay? I don't know. Snowbird is the song. Smith. He's got that away. He hasn't got that away. Straight back to the bowler. Well, he got more contact on that. So another dot ball.
So my app, for those of you at home, my app has got rain starting in 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
So we shall see.
That's relatively accurate, isn't
How
it?
accurate that
The rain.
It's called AccuWeather. Other forecasters are available.
We're not on the BBC, Joe. You're okay. We're not on the BBC.
Thomas,
Advertise all you like.
But they're not paying me.
They
so
can contribute to the Joe Leach Testimonial Fund.
Thomas Schaffenacker is getting very nervous about your weather forecast.
If you're listening, the Joe Leach Testimonial Fund
Last
accepts
ball of the over.
donations.
Single off it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the over. Smith has bowled 3 overs for 11 runs. Duckworth
just
Lewis,
convening here.
91 at the end of this next over, Duckworth Lewis. So Notts are 11 runs off that.
Russell Merriman says it's raining very heavily now in Ledbury, and it's so dark it feels like 10 p.m. It's all good, everybody. Just bear in mind we're only a week away from the longest day.
Or the coldest day.
Just mentioning the Joe Leach Testimonial, I'm going to shamelessly plug it.
Oh yeah.
All details available on Google. Go to Joe Leach Testimonial, just Google that and you get details. As Hayden Walsh starts, new over, gets a wicket. That's a big wicket. Jack Haynes has gone, looking to play the reverse sweep, and I think getting a little glove on it as he played the little reverse, and the catch taken by Gareth Roderick. Or was he LBW? I think he was cool. I don't know. Congratulations were going Roderick's way. LBW on the board. What do you think, Joe? Let's have a look. No, LBW. Beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Apologies. I saw Roderick being congratulated. Yeah, Alex Hales can't believe it. Jack Haynes has gone. Apologies if I misled you. He was LBW for 6. Hayden Walsh making a huge impact. And it's game back on here with the Outlaws 80 for 3. Middle order collapses have characterised their season so far in chasing. Whether we'll see another one, I don't know. That'll be their fear. It's very dark. Very dark.
Tom Moore's don't hang about, does he?
He's been struggling for form.
And he is going to have... I mean, that wicket now...
It's taken Duckworth Lewis to 92.
Yeah, they are going to... It's just starting to...
Yeah, it's tight now. And it's very dark. Dark to go in now. Tom Moore's the left-hander, asking the umpire for a bit of guidance, I think. Asking, oh, they were getting the ball off the umpire. He put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
It's very dark. We're looking from the side. Much lighter when we look at our monitors as Walsh bowls. Moores gets off the mark, pulling this one away on the leg side. Will Hales try, Joe, and finish it off? That's the end of another excellent over.
It's a horrible position to be in, really.
It's not the end of an excellent over. I didn't think it was. It's only 2 balls gone.
9 runs and over, 7 wickets down is more than manageable. But just with this threat of the weather, all of a sudden you need 11 in 4 balls.
Yeah.
What do? Do you risk the rain coming? If you get out, that really impacts the game.
Well, Hales has gone big on the leg side, and he's got it all the way. I thought for a minute Josh Cobb was interested out there on the mid-wicket boundary, but Hales has taken the bold approach. He's decided that he's taken into account all those things that you said, Joe. He might have holed out. He's cleared the ropes, and if he hits another one of those, they'll be ahead of Duckworth Lewis.
Yeah.
This one is quicker and flatter, and he just cuts it away for a single.
And from the Rapids point of view, you're kind of hoping that you get a dot here, and Tom Moores has to play the big shot, I guess. So it's really, this is really
game within a game, isn't it?
Really is, yeah.
Here we go, Moores on strike. Whacks it away on the offside. They'll only get 1.
And who you
Ethan
bowling
Brooks
next
out
over
there.
now? Given what we think might happen, do you
I bowl Smith, I
do
think.
you bowl Smith and bowl him out? And
It's tough, isn't it? Finch, Smith? Don't know.
I think probably Smith. I think.
Last ball of the over from Walsh. Hales has gone big. He's got it all again. It's all the way. That's huge from Alex Hales. 2 6s in that over, and they have put Notts ahead on Duckworth Lewis. And he's now going to try and walk off. He's not going to be allowed to. 95 for 3. That's a 15 off that over. There have been 3 overs in this innings which have gone for more than any over went for in the Worcestershire Rapids innings.
Yeah.
17 off the 5th, 14 off the 10th, and 15 off that 14th over. 95 for 3. Let me if I may, just finish the testimonial stuff. Stephen Mullaney's got a testimonial. You can get all the details of his testimonial if you visit his website. Joe Leach has got one here. Lots of events. Fantastic night coming up at Lord's in November. Alex Stewart, Simon Hughes, the analyst, Sir Alistair Cook, Michael Atherton, all scheduled for that one in the long room. Could be a magnificent evening. Get on the website and have a look at the details. Here's Nathan Smith.
Smith it is, and pushed for one. I always think there's pressure on the umpires when you get to this stage of a game and the lights fade in. Yeah, they've obviously take the light, you know, whatever the light is, that they think it's dangerous, they'll come off whatever the score is, but they'll be well aware of what the score is and what the Duckworth-Lewis is.
They'll be trying their best to stay out there as long as possible. I think if you're an umpire, you're hoping that one side runs away with it one way or the other, aren't you?
Yeah. This ball is just tucked away on the leg side. There's a call for two, but they won't get two. Josh Cobb comes in from mid-wicket field.
I think the other thing is, you know, if a bloke's smacking it out the park, you can hardly say it's too dark.
No.
You know?
Just thinking about that game, as we kind of referenced a few years ago in the quarterfinal against Hampshire, it was actually a fielder who dropped a catch.
Yeah.
Rapids were batting, fielder dropped the catch, and that's what took us off the light.
Well, I think he was fielding on the boundary. The ball actually came out of the light from the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Yeah, you're quite right. They did go off the bad light.
It wouldn't have been much darker than this, Bradders, from memory.
No.
It was
No.
very similar to this.
No, it wouldn't. Because that was a quarter-final.
It was.
But it was late in the season and without lights here. 34 needed for not to win unless we do go off round the wicket. Runs away off slightly outside edge, but he was trying to play it down there. Wait the fielder.
I hesitate to state the absolute obvious, but
Never stopped
if
you before.
if they get Hales, they've got a chance, Worcestershire. If Hales is still there with only 2 overs to go, I'd say it'll probably be over, won't it, the way he's decided to play. And I understand that completely. Notts fans will say it's about time.
Coats are going on. No umbrellas up though. Dabbed. For one.
54, Alex Hales from 37 balls.
What about it?
Have to say, exceptional innings to this point. You know, under pressure, and then that last over against Hayden Walsh, where Jack Haynes gets out, Duckworth-Lewis goes up to have the presence of mind. Probably, I mean, look, we're talking about one of the best players in the world over a long period of time, so you almost come to expect it from him. But the way he's managed this innings has been
brilliant,
really first rate.
Moore's facing. Oh, that could be, but isn't a wide. Tom Moores thinks it was, but it doesn't really matter what he thinks. That's what Russell Warren thinks. The wind getting up, it's starting to, you can probably see our cameras are just wobbling a little bit. That's because the wind is really blasting, not blasting, but blowing across the ground.
Look at
There's
Duckworth-Lewis now.
Spot of rain on our window. Duckworth-Lewis now 99 and 99 for 3. Oh, it was a swish. That's all I can describe that as. Fine leg for a single. 100 up for the Outlaws.
AccuWeather says it's raining. It's not. So it's not that accurate.
No. That's the end of that. But we're not having any more of that, Joe Leach.
It might be raining 3 fields away. I'll give you that. There you go.
So
the man on the PA doing our job for us.
4 overs, no maidens.
Well bowled.
No wicket for 16. Nathan Smith continues to impress.
Even our pictures now, you can see that the scoreboard in the distance is very bright. The umpires have come together. They're having a chat.
Batsmen are having a drink and a chat, so they're not too worried. In AccuWeather says it's raining, but
well, it's quite obvious what's going on here. Notts are one ahead.
Yeah.
Their camp is telling them to make sure they stay one ahead, even if it takes a couple of minutes. Rain is starting to fall.
I don't think the umpires will take kindly to this, though. You
Quite
know,
a long drinks break.
it's pretty cynical, isn't it? It's pretty cynical. Tom Taylor back into the attack at the Diglis end. Quite a bold move. Started well, got a bit of tap in his second over.
We are in the realms of needing a wicket. This is going.
Definitely.
This game is down to
The next 5 minutes.
arguably the next 2 or 3 balls.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe even less.
Tom Moore's taking
And
an
the DLS.
age to take guard,
DLS will
and they're going off. So Notts have got their way.
Go down well, is it?
Duckworth Lewis says 100, and they well.
Ground here as well. It's a terrific atmosphere cricket ground.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And what I found when I watched football, I'm almost ashamed to say my team is Colchester United, but when they used to play at their road, you were right in amongst the action, and it helped create the atmosphere.
In comes Shane Snater, bowls to Harrison Ward, who hammers that one away over long off. It's going to run away for 4 runs. Nice pick up by Harrison Ward, slightly overpitched by Snater, and Ward was very quickly onto that and belted the ball away over mid-off for 4 runs for the first boundary of the innings, and Sussex go to 7 without loss.
Nicely picked up. Just a hint, a little bit outside edgy, but having said that, it's just typical of where the runs have come today. A lot of the boundaries have yet not come right out of the middle of the bat that we've seen today.
Ward waits, as Paul was saying, 2 left-handed opening batters for Sussex. Snater in, bowls, short, pulled away by Ward. Is that going to be another boundary? It is. It was too short, really, and Ward just took his time and pulled the ball away through backward square leg. Back-to-back boundaries for Harrison Ward, and Sussex go to 11 without loss.
Yes, well, he's, you were saying, you know, it's only his 2nd game, and he's looking very confident out there. That was a poor ball, but beautifully played away to deep backward square leg.
He's been making runs in the 2s in the second 11 T20 competition, so he's earned the right to play in the last couple of games. In comes Snater, bowls to Ward, who punches this one out into the offside. And this time it's a dot ball. We don't like to talk too much about football during our cricket commentaries, but what was the year of that famous game at Layer Road between Colchester and Leeds?
Oh, I'll never forget that. It was 1971.
Oh well, the great Leeds side. It
was, and the only one of their top players who didn't play was Billy Bremner, and Colchester were 3-0 up at one point and ended up winning 3-2.
There we are.
Thank you for giving me that chance. we won't mention football again.
In goes Snater, bowls to Ward, who pulls this one away down the ground. That's the 3rd boundary of the innings. It was too short. I thought Ward had pulled that one way through mid-wicket, but in the end he played it very straight, and the ball whistled away through mid-on for 4 runs. So a good over as far as Sussex are concerned, and a good over for Harrison Ward, the 3rd boundary of the innings. 13 off the over so far, and Sussex to 15 without loss.
Goes to show that scoring runs in 2s isn't to be sneezed at, because it means you're in form.
Snater in again, bowls, and Ward, oh, he was deceived. That was a good piece of bowling by Shane Snater. A slow delivery, Ward with a play and a miss outside of the off stump. The ball goes through to keeper Rosington, and there is no run.
Yes, Essex could do with a wicket, an early wicket here, really, to be honest, because although 179 isn't going to be a stroll for Sussex, but nevertheless, the way Ward has started out, and we've heard what good form Hughes is in, they certainly, I think, need to more or less bowl Sussex out.
Snater in again, bowls wide of the off stump. Ward helps this one away down to 3rd man. Is he going to pick up another boundary? He is going to pick up a boundary. 4 boundaries in the over for Harrison Ward, and Sussex off to a good start here. They are 19 without loss after 2 overs. At the same stage, Essex were 15 without loss. So Sussex in the ascendancy, 4 boundaries off the over. The end of the 2nd over, Sussex are 19 without loss. I just wonder as well, Paul, whether Sussex, I mean, we've said the weather does look like it's going to be okay, but they will just have half an eye, I think, on Duckworth Lewis, just in case the rain does come here to Chelmsford. But at the moment, I have to say, we can see the moon. The clouds look reasonably high, and fingers crossed we're going to be okay. Change of bowling from the Sir Alistair Cook end.
Yes, Aaron Beard replaces Daniel Sands, but yeah, you should always keep an eye out for Duckworth Lewis. It's essential, I think, in T20 cricket. Beard's in from the Sir Alistair Cook end. 4 more, and this time to Daniel Hughes, and that takes Sussex to 23 for no wicket in 2.1. And what a handsome shot that was, slightly overpitched by Beard, just outside off stump, and Hughes put his foot to the ball and played it very elegantly through the covers for 4.
Well, that was a beautiful shot, and he's in fine form, Daniel Hughes, and he plays proper cricket shots, if you get my meaning, Paul. You don't see him slogging too much. It's proper shots.
Beard bowls to him again. This one's shorter, and a very good half stop there at backward point, which hurt the fieldsman's hand. And it might be Benkenstein there, but we're waiting. No, it's Elgar, I beg your pardon. Elgar, who's dived to his left and saved 3 runs there. They still get a single, but that was going to the boundary like a rocket had he not darted the left hand out. 24 for none, and Hughes has 6 with 5 runs from the 2 balls he's placed in this over so far, and now the explosive Ward into strike.
Well, that was a really good stop, because it's cold here now, Paul, and that was going like a train.
Here is Beard again around the wicket, and this ball is clubbed down the ground, and that will be another 4. It's just out of my sight to my left, but it won't have missed going on the full by very much.
No, it was a few feet short of going for a 6, but he just absolutely belted that down the ground, didn't he, Harrison Ward? A very similar shot, Paul, to the shot that he played in the previous over. He's just rehearsing the shot. I think he was looking to hit it a little squarer, but nonetheless, it's another boundary, and Sussex off to a good start here. 28 without loss in the 3rd.
And I think they'll have been pleased to have won the toss and put Essex into bat. Essex would much rather bat 2nd. So good toss to win. Beard's in. Bowls to Ward, who's hit this one. That's going to be 4 more. And beats the despairing dive of Walter in the covers. And, well, at the moment, these two are absolutely making mincemeat of the early Essex overs. I should think Essex can't wait for the power play to be over and have a few more men out deep. That takes it up to 32, I think, for no wicket.
Well, he's had very limited opportunities, Harrison Ward. He's got a chance here. He's got himself in, and he won't want to give this away now.
Beard bowls to him, and he's hammered this for 4 more. And it was again a little bit short on off stump, and he just took a slight step backwards, got right over the ball. Back foot through the covers for 4, back foot force, 36 for no wicket.
Well, that's just super shots, aren't they? I mean, it wasn't a great ball from Aaron Beard, to be fair, but you've still got to put the ball away, and he absolutely thumped that one away through the covers for 4 runs.
We must have had 7 or 8 boundaries in the last 12 or 13 deliveries, I think, as Beard comes in again to bowl to Harrison Ward. And that short down leg side and played away for just a single to deep backward square leg. And the score to 37 for no wicket. And that completes another excellent over from a Sussex point of view. 18 runs from it, and 31 of those have come to Harrison Ward, the relative novice. He was at the other end without taking much of the strike. He's faced only 3 of the 18 deliveries, but he's on to 6, and 37 for none in 3 has launched this Sussex attempt to get to 179 in really fine style.
Well, he has, and it really has been an excellent start as far as Sussex are concerned. He's a player who came through the pathway that Sussex have with Oxfordshire. It's the same pathway that James Coles came through as well, but really hasn't had that much opportunity. He had a bit of opportunity last year in T20, perhaps didn't make the most of it, but he's in now and he's got a real opportunity. Harrison Ward, he's 31 not out, Sussex 37 without loss after 3 overs, as in comes
Ben Allison.
Ben Allison bowls to Ward. He plays that one away through the offside. Going to come back for a second. There's a slight... Oh, no, they didn't come back for the second. In fact, Harrison Ward sent Daniel Hughes back, and I think that was a good decision. Held Maxim, he never run on a misfield, Paul. Yeah,
I don't think the fieldsman, having stopped the ball, quite realised how far the batsman had backed up going for a second, and he sent in a very... Because he didn't realise that there was any chance of a run out, a very slow return. Had he realised the situation there, a really quick return had Hughes in trouble.
Yes, absolutely. Allison from the Graham Gooch end. Runs into bowl to the Australian. Daniel Hughes is in and bowls, and Hughes defends onto the offside, and there is no run. And it's probably good from a Sussex point of view here when you have someone with the experience of Daniel Hughes. He's 35, batting with Harrison Ward. I mean, Harrison Ward's 24. I was just looking here. This is his 27th T20 match, so he has played some games, but maybe just an experienced head. No need for Sussex to you have to play out the odd dot ball. There's no problem. I've just seen a lady walk in front of us, Paul, with 2 ice creams. With a 99 with a flake in them as well. And she's also got a cup of coffee as well, so hedging her bets, I think. He goes big bowls, and Hughes with a play and a miss outside the off stump. That was a pacey delivery from Ben Allison, taken by Rosington. So this is better from an Essex perspective. 2 dot balls, and very welcome as well for the home side here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Essex, Adrian Harms, Paul Newton and Glenn Speller, your commentary team.
I think Hughes was disappointed not to see a signal for a wide there, because he was reaching right across outside off stump, and it was basically saying, well, what more could I have done, umpire?
Allison in again, bowls, pulled away by Hughes. He's going to get away with that, and he's going to pick up a boundary. Yes, he will. It wasn't that far away from the fielder at mid-wicket. It was in the air for a long time, but nonetheless, Daniel Hughes picks up a boundary, and Sussex's good start in this power play continues. 4 more. Just look at this again from Allison's delivery. He didn't quite time that, did he, Daniel Hughes? And it wasn't very far away from the fielder at mid-wicket, but nonetheless, far enough away. And Hughes is just waiting here for Allison. He wants to reset his field. Hughes to 10, the Sharks to 42 without loss in the 4th. Allison again, bowls to Hughes, who plays this one to point, and there is no run. Just looking at Harrison Ward, 54 is his highest score in T20 cricket. He averages 20 and is in his 27th match, so he's had opportunities, but perhaps not taken as much as he might have hoped. But tonight he's in, and he'll be hoping to press on from here. Well,
he's certainly exceeded his career average of around 20 to 32 not out in just 3 overs.
Allison in bowls, Hughes looks to drive into the offside. In fact, he very nearly played on, the ball bounced over his stump, and that's a very fine over by Ben Allison. Just the 5 runs coming off for it. And at the end of the 4th over, Sussex are 42 without loss. At the same stage, Essex were 37 without loss. There's not a huge difference between the two, Paul.
No, indeed not. And well bowled to Ben Allison there.
Yes.
He's not having a bad match, because he was one of Essex's better batsmen once the collapse started, and was one of only 2 people to be not out at the finish, because Essex were 9 down in reaching 178, and Ben Allison got 4s, one of them rather fortunate from a drop catch that went over the boundary, and then an edgy 4 off the last ball of the innings. But those 8 runs at the end of the innings, they yet have a say in the game, as we're going to see Paul Walter, the 5th bowler Essex have used already, into the attack in the 5th over, as this ball is chopped up in the air and lands safely, and they get a single going towards mid-wicket, and 43 for no wicket in 4.1.
You very wisely got your anorak on, because it's it feels like anorak weather, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, obviously I wore it principally from the point of view that the forecast suggested I'd need it and a hat to keep the rain off, but actually
it's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it is cold, but actually we simply haven't had any rain in the last few hours, and it looks as if we're going to get through this game all right, as Walter comes in left arm over from the Sir Alistair Cook end, and this ball is played to mid-wicket. Shy comes in
out.
and
I
hits
reckon that's
directly,
out.
and it could go for 4 overthrows here if it's not out. It has 4 overthrows. It was a superb throw, and well, a lot of people would say that's one of the great injustices of cricket. A fine bit of out cricket in hitting the stumps has been rewarded with the concession of a boundary where only 1 would have accrued, and that takes the score up to 47 without loss, and Hughes moves on to 14, Ward 33.
Well, that was tight, wasn't it? Harrison Ward backing up. He was sent back by Daniel Sams. The throw came in. I thought Well, there's no way we can see from here. We can't even see the line. But Ward clearly would have had his heart in his mouth. But what a brilliant bit of fielding.
Yeah, and Walter just trying to get Daniel Sams' attention to move a little bit further away at backward square. And this ball is mistimed, but they get through for a single as the ball goes in the direction of Michael Pepper. Mid-wicket, whose throw it was that held the stumps down, direct hit, deserved better than to go for the boundary. And I think what happened was the ball would have, in hitting the stumps directly, would have deflected off and bamboozled the fieldsman who was backing up. Here is Walter in, bowls, and that one lifts very sharply actually from Walter, who can bowl a quick delivery, as we were pointing out earlier in the over. That's the fourth ball. We've had single, the boundary for the overthrows, and another single and a dot ball there. So Essex are fighting back a bit here.
They are.
48 for no wicket.
Sorry, Paul, I mean, that was quick.
Yeah.
Really quick.
Very interesting delivery. And Ward on strike as Walter bowls. A slower ball. And again, not timed there. And it would have been a wide had the batsman left it. But he just got a thin inside edge, and good work from wicketkeeper and captain for the night, Adam Rossington, prevents the single. And Walter, if it weren't for those 4 overthrows, would be bowling a very tight over indeed here. Here he comes in again to bowl to Ward. And Ward gets hold of this and cracks it away to mid-wicket for 6. Really got hold of that. And so 5 overs gone. That takes Sussex past 50. 54 for no wicket, rather spoiling Walter's figures there. 54 for no wicket. That means we had 12 runs off that 5th over. Just a bit too short from Walter.
Yes, at the same stage, Essex were 49 without loss. So actually there's only 5 runs between the two. So I'm going to make way for a moment. I'm going to go and put an anorak on, I think it's cold. And I'm going to leave you with Paul Newton, and Glenn Speller's going to join Paul for the next block of 5 overs.
Thanks very much, Adrian Harms for BBC Sussex. This is Paul Newton for BBC Essex, about to be joined by Glenn Speller, likewise of BBC Essex. And here we see the start of the 6th over, and that may well have been hit for 6 as well. It's on its way down to the fence, just waiting for the signal. It is indeed 6. It was well picked up as Sams returns for the last over of the power play at the Graham Gooch end. And immediately, Glenn, worrying signs this for Essex. Sussex cruising along at 60 without loss.
Yeah, not helped in the last over as well. I know you said it was a fine piece of out cricket from Michael Pepper, but I do wonder why he threw down the stumps, bearing in mind there was nobody backing up. But I guess heat at the moment, Essex needed wickets, but Sussex are cantering here.
And this next one is cross-batted away for 4. Beautifully picked up. And Hughes showing that he too, like Harrison Ward, can get on top of this Essex attack. And even Sams, who bowled a very good first over, is taking some flack in this one with 10 runs from it already.
I know we're in the power play still, but Harrison Ward and Daniel Hughes are basically doing the job up front for their team here, doing the bulk of the work. And so if either of them does get out, the Sussex batters that come after them won't have to do anything outlandish. The required run rate now is under 8.
Sams again. Bowls. Hughes waits for a slower ball and deposits that effortlessly for 4. Lovely straight drive. We were saying earlier that there hasn't been all that many runs hit straight today, but in the power play, nobody out on the boundary there, and the score rockets up to 68 without loss.
It's too easy, isn't it? They're going to have to try to vary it, and that means bringing spin on. Just watching Matt Critchley just on the edge of the circle, just in front of us, Paul, just catching the attention of his captain, Adam Rossington. Rossington's called for a helmet, so I think he'll be on next over.
Sams bowls again, and that's too short, and it may well be 6 more, and is pulled away on a bigger ground. It might have ended up in the fieldsman's hands, but it always looked as if it had the carry to beat 2 converging fielders, one from backward square leg, Ben Allison, the other was Luke Benkenstein, making ground from mid-wicket. and 74 for no wicket, and we're only in the 6th over. We're not out of the power play yet.
Yeah, and these two have only had seam to face, haven't they? And
yeah.
The ball is clearly coming on quite nicely for them out there.
Sands, having been switched to the Graham Gooch end, is a very expensive over here, and that may well be 6 more, and surely will be. Yeah, indeed it is. Nobody manages to catch it in the crowd, but it's 80 for no wicket, and my word, this is an expensive over. It began at 54 for none in 5, and the score is now 80, 26 off the over, and still a ball to come.
This, I know Sussex had started well before this over, but this could be the over that does the job really for Sussex and takes the game away from Essex. Required run rate down to 7 now, and well, by the way, the DLS is 41. Sussex are almost double past that.
Yes, I suppose the football chant at this point would be, it's all gone quiet over there, because this normally very lively Chelmsford Friday evening crowd not seeing what they were hoping to see at the moment. As Sands is in, bowls to Hughes, and Hughes has carted this one away,
6. Square
on the offside for yet another 6. Goodness me, I make that 32 off the over. We'll just wait for confirmation from David Jackman.
Yep.
86 for no wicket.
Yep. Yeah, 32 off the over. At the power play, 12 4s and 5 6s as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Harrison Ward and Daniel Hughes have struck the ball to all parts of the ground. We were saying that Essex struggled to hit straight. Only in the power play did they hit straight. And from that point onwards, it seemed to become harder, and most of the runs came square of the wicket. Well, these two look as though they could hit straight all evening the way they're playing, especially against the seam, and Essex are going to change things now with Matt Critchley.
Yeah, I mean, that means there were 4 6s and 2 4s in that over. Every ball went to the boundary. You don't often see that, even in T20 cricket, and that was from Essex's number 1 bowler. First over only went for 3, next one 32, 86 for no wicket in 6, and my word, Essex really have got to take wickets and start taking them immediately.
Critchley into Ward. Ward swings for the hills, and that has gone miles. That has gone miles over the public stand and almost striking the wall of one of the apartments out there. So Essex have tried to vary it, but it hasn't varied where the ball's ended up. That one's dumped for 6 as well, and the score for Sussex just continues to move up, and it moves on apace as well. And at the moment, we're in the 7th over. We could be having an early evening here, which, bearing in mind most people are wearing coats outside because it's that cold out there.
Yeah,
they might be quite pleased with.
The last ball of Paul Walters' over, the 5th of the innings, went for 6. Then Daniel Sams has bowled an over with 4 6s and 2 4s. So that's 5 6s in the last 7 deliveries. And then we've just had the first ball of the 7th over go for 6, I make that 6 6s and 2 4s in the last 8 deliveries as Critchley bowls, and
comes in, that's swung away over deep backward square, and that one's gone for 6 as well. Off the bowling of Matt Critchley. And what that also is as well is it is 50 to Harrison Ward, and the last 9 balls of the innings, Paul, have gone for 50.
Yeah, 7 6s, 2 4s. Actually, we can tally on that. It's exactly 50 as you say.
And the last 5 scoring shots have all been 6s, says David behind us. So this next one from Critchley is hammered away into the offside. A few pantomime boos as it only goes for a single, and Aaron Beard tidies things up. 99 without loss, Sussex, and we're still only in the 7th over. They require a further 79 runs for victory at a required run rate of below 6. And finally, Daniel Hughes gets the strike. Critchley comes in and bowls to him, and it slices it off the face of the bat, fielded by the man at short third on the edge of the circle, and there is no run.
And if you're wondering what the cheering's for, it's ironic, because the ball went straight to an Essex field, and for once there was no run.
Critchley in and bowls. That's on leg stump. It's swung away, out. Swung away to the man at deep backward square. Essex get a breakthrough, but I do wonder, and I think many in this ground might be wondering themselves, is it too little, too late? Finally, the opening stand is finished. It's 99 for 1.
Yes, well, I think it might have come in over 2-2 late, as you imply there, and Essex has simply got to carry on taking wickets. Ironically, they've probably got to push a few more people into attacking fielding positions in the hope of putting Sussex under a little bit of pressure, because John Simpson's coming out now, the Sussex captain, hitherto a Middlesex player, but joining Sussex this season, and captain for Sussex, and that is the end of Hughes then, but a terrific innings from him, and 99 for 1 up on the board, and 6.5 overs gone, and already a further 13 have come off this over in spite of that wicket going down.
Yeah, so John Simpson, the Sussex wicketkeeper, is out, as you say, poor long-time servant of Middlesex, but now plying his trade down at Hove. Essex just need to keep taking wickets, but they need a clutch of them in short start time. This first ball to Simpson from Critchley is swept down to the long leg boundary for 4 runs. Well, the batter might have changed, but the scoring hasn't. 103 for 1 now at the end of 7 overs here. Essex are getting battered into the ground. They're going to need a lot of wickets. They're going to need something like a mid-innings collapse that they had themselves last Friday, and indeed here this evening. Incidentally, I know you were talking about football earlier on, Paul. It is the first night of the European Championships, and it's currently at half-time. Germany 3, Scotland 0, and Scotland are down to 10 men.
Yes, good luck with that one, I think we'd say to the Scottish there. But
Luke Benkenstein coming on.
Yeah, and he might pick up a wicket or two here. He's a canny bowler, slow left arm, and he's going to be bowling to Harrison Ward, who is 47, oh, it's 52 not out, I should say. And it comes on right arm, I should have said, as this ball is played out to the man on the cover boundary. Just be a single, a little bit of a sigh of relief in many ways after what we've seen in recent overs. The score goes up to 104 for 1. We're only in the early stages of the 8th over, target 179.
Shane Snater, incidentally, taking the catch. I think I may have forgotten to mention.
And this next ball, attempted sweep. I'm not quite sure what that's come off. We'll wait and see if the umpire is going to signal. In fact, it's a wide there, and they ran one as well. So that'll be 106 for 1, 2 runs.
Yeah, and that's what Essex can't do without handing Sussex runs on a plate as well.
Benkenstein again bowls. He's played down too long on. Just be the single. 107 for 1 in just the 8th over, so Sussex need only another 72, and I have to say that whereas Essex collapsed from 101 for 1 at halfway, it's not looking as if Sussex are going to do that here, although this is a little bit edgy, but nevertheless it's gone for 4 from Simpson's bat, the left-hander facing Benkenstein, and just getting an inside edge on it past the wicketkeeper down to the fine leg boundary. 111 for 1.
Yeah, he's just got something on it. It was aimed down leg side, wasn't it? He's got something on it, and I think Critchley was a bit wrong-footed as well, sort of leaning away to his right, and then realised it was going to skip away a lot finer than he initially thought.
Oh, and almost played on there. Benkenstein bowled a good delivery, which had the batsman just chopping the ball into the ground, and it just went over the stumps and down towards fine leg. They get a single, 112 for 1. And all the Sussex batsmen so far are left-handers. Here's Simpson playing the ball back to the bowler, and he knows he doesn't have to look for an ambitious run there, and Simpson's already calling for a new bat. He's only just come to the crease, but that came off the bottom of the bat.
Split the bat, I think.
And, yeah, it's split. He can't bat with that, and we will have a slight delay, 112 for 1. And just while we've got the delay, Glenn, memories of 2 earlier games between these two sides in the T20. Graham Napier, who's on the ground today with his 16 sixes, which was a then record in an innings of 152, but this was actually eclipsed a couple of years later by Luke Wright of Sussex, who I think got 1 run more, and that was one of these occasions, and it looks as if tonight's going to be another, where Essex seemed to have set a reasonably challenging target, but Sussex promptly made mincemeat of it, and something extraordinary has got to happen if Sussex are not to win this game tonight. Right, we're back with the cricket. Benkenstein bowls, and they go for four as a misfield, but they were going to get a single anyway, and the score moves along to 113 for 1 at the end of that over.
They're playing a 5-over game down at Taunton. And with 9 balls gone, Somerset, the leaders of the South Group, are 21 for 1. Rain still at the Utilita Bowl, and Middlesex 113 for 8 in the 17th over against Hampshire, and Surrey 138 for 3 in the 16th, chasing 171 to beat Gloucestershire. Ollie Pope 47 not out, Jason Roy made 55. Dan Lawrence opening the batting, out for 4, the former Essex man. BBC Essex, BBC Sussex with you, Glenn Speller, Paul Newton and Adrian Harms at the Chelmsford County Ground. Just 8 overs gone and chasing 179 for victory. Sussex are 113 for 1, and Paul Walter is back on from the Sir Alistair Cook end. So we're back to seam from this end, the end from which we're commentating. Walter is in and bowling to Ward. He's 55 not out, and that's short, slower delivery aimed on leg stump, which is just swept around the corner down to long leg for a single. 114 for 1. It is a bitterly cold June evening here in Chelmsford. Brian Jeeves from the Yellow Advertiser, one of the scribes, is in the box with us this evening. Actually had the hood up on his hoodie, and he got it tied up right round him. It was that cold, and I must begin to think I shouldn't have left my coat in the back of the car. It is a chilly old night, which made someone walking past with ice creams earlier on make me question their sanity. Here's Walter into Simpson now. Full delivery outside off stump. Simpson drives away out towards deep cover. Comes through for a single. 115 for 1. And the majority of the crowd here will want Essex to win. And the fact they're getting battered around the ground might just make them feel that degree or two colder.
Yes. Paul Walter, I know he did get hit for 1-6, but to me, one of the things that puzzles me, for me, is much one of the better Essex bowlers, and they've so often not bowled him his full account.
Walter in, and that is smashed down to long on by Ward on the bounce, and they take a single. Fielding out there done by Michael Pepper, who made a rapid half century in the Essex innings, but unlike against Middlesex, couldn't go on to make it a big innings tonight. He and Dean Elgar both getting to half centuries before getting out.
Yes, Walter's done so well both in the 100 and in the Big Bash in Australia. I'd have thought, he's pretty highly rated.
116 for 1. He's in now and bowling to Simpson. Simpson gets a... Well, I thought he got an edge to that one, and his reaction as well told you that he maybe got an edge, but no, it goes through to Rossington without a touch. Remains at 116 for 1. Good delivery, that one.
Well, this certainly has been an over that's restored at least an iota of respectability to the Essex account after the thrashing they took, particularly at the end of the power play and the beginning of the non-power play.
Still only need 5.5 and over here. Sussex. Walters in, bowls a short delivery, and Simpson goes to pull it around the corner, and give him some credit, maybe just dropped his hands on it at the last moment. Goes through to Rossington for no run. 116 for 1. 179 is the target. The required run rate 5.5.
And he's mixing it up intelligently, Walter. Every ball of the over's been a different delivery, making it more difficult for the batsman.
Essex won their last 3. Sussex have won their last 2. Walter in and bowling to Simpson again. Can just take pace off the ball, drop it into the onside. Runs the first one really quickly. Won't get the second though. Fielder coming in off the mid-wicket boundary, cuts off the second. 117.
Now, I want to introduce you to our Woodland Group Young Eagle of the game. Your name, sir?
Now, he was limping somewhat, so a man who's been renowned for his extraordinary fitness is just beginning to show his age a little bit, but hopefully he will soon be restored to full fitness. Always great to see him. Here's Critchley then, from the Graham Gooch end, and this is played down to long off. I was going to say long on, because all these batsmen we've seen so far for Sussex are left-handed, so they get a single. Score to 118 for 1. Just the 10th over, and only a further 62 needed. As Glenn was saying, about 5.5 and over. Critchley's in, bowls, and that's taken an inside edge, the proverbial Staffordshire or Surrey cut. They come back for 2. And the ball out of my sight is just prevented from going for 4 as it ran down towards the boundary behind wicketkeeper Adam Rossington. Benkenstein with the fielding, and score up to 120 for 1.
Yeah, good chase from Elgar and Benkenstein, just preventing the boundary.
Critchley again bowls, and this ball is hit mightily down the ground, but not perfectly timed though, and goes on the second bounce to long on for just the single. 121 for 1 in the 10s.
Yeah, but they don't need to do anything outlandish here.
No.
Sussex, and
as Critchley bowls again, and this could well be 6, and is. Nothing Jordan Cox on the long on boundary can do to do anything but admire it on its way into the crowd there. 127 for 1 in the 10th over, 1 ball of it left.
yeah, it's too full. Simpson just stood in his crease and waited for that one from Critchley. It was too full, and he's just swung straight through the line of it, and it's flown over the boundary down to the Graham Gooch end. And at the moment, this is a pretty debilitating experience for Essex out there. Not for the first time in this T20, guilty of just not getting enough runs, not making the most of a good situation they've manufactured for themselves.
Critchley bowls again, and this is driven rather more sedately down to long off by Simpson for a single. So 128 for 1. In fact, there's still another delivery to come in this over. 128 for 1, just 51 more needed, and this now signals the end of the 10th over, and it's been square driven. Again, it'll just be a single. 128 for 1 in 10 overs. The rate, therefore, in fact, 129 for 1. The board unusually slow to register that. 12.9 and over. It's been a disaster from an Essex point of view. Well played, Sussex. Ward a terrific 61 not out. Simpson 19 not out. And Glenn Speller will now be joined by Adrian Harms.
Thank you, Paul. 11 off that Matt Critchley over, including that mighty 6 struck by John Simpson. Well, they managed to get rid, did Essex, of Daniel Hughes, but hasn't given them any respite whatsoever, because Simpson's come in and put bat to ball as well, coming in at number 3, the Sussex wicketkeeper. And it doesn't matter the bowling changes. Adam Rossington's gone through all of his options, but they've met with pretty much the same result from this very impressive Sussex lineup. Ben Allison is on from this Sir Alistair Cook end, and he's bowling right arm around. He's in and bowls, and it's battered down to long off. In fact, it's cut off by extra cover on the edge of the circle. Paul Walter with a tumbling stop. Still come through for the single. 130.
Well, it's been incredible, hasn't it? I don't think I've seen a power play like it. 86. I mean, the 6. It was just raining 6s. I think Paul said there was. Sorry, David said 59 balls, something like that.
Allison in and bowls to Simpson, who plays defensively out to the offside, but they'll still jog through for a comfortable single. 131 for 1. It's very quiet in the ground, but everyone's stuck around to see the denouement of this one. But I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion, the way which this game is going and where the points will be going. They'll be heading down to the south coast, I think.
Interesting change in the batting order as well. I wondered who would bat 3 today, with Sussex going in with a batter light, really, picking Danny Lamb as the all-rounder, but John Simpson's come in and sort of picked up the mantle, really, from Daniel Hughes.
Allison into Ward, who's got 62. Ward swings that one away, and it'll go down to the wide third boundary. Got a thickish outside edge on that, and it's flown away. 135 for 1, and with that 4 being signalled, it's the sign for the first of the Essex faithful to start heading for the exits. So the man and wife pick up their bags, nod at each other, and say, "Yep, that'll do us for this evening. We'll get into the warm, shall we?"
Yeah, I just popped out to take a photograph actually of the ground. I noticed quite a long queue at the bar. But a hot toddy might be the order of the day, I think.
I believe they might call that drowning your sorrows. Here is Allison round the wicket to Ward. Full delivery. Ward waits for it, hammers it away to the extra cover boundary, where there's a good sliding stop. Good piece of fielding there by Aaron Beard, who throws the ball back in, but they scamper back for a couple of runs. Ward goes to 68, and the score to 137 for 1. 42 more runs required by Sussex at a required run rate of 4.5.
Amazing, isn't it? Harrison Ward well past his personal best score in T20 cricket, which was 54. And from a Sussex perspective, I'm very pleased for him, because he's a young player who's sort of been in and out of the side, and this could be the making of big innings like this tonight.
Looks rock solid in the crease as he faces up to Allison now. Swings, gets the thick outside edge, and is taken. But that is a match-winning innings there from Harrison Ward. He goes for 68 from 36 deliveries. Ben Allison gets a little bit of reward. Thick outside edge through to Rossington. At one point, Ward hit 7 successive 4s from 7 balls that he faced, and he's just taken the game away from Essex here. A little bit of reward, but it's no more than that. 137 for 2. Good game to win from here for Essex.
Well, it would be, and as if Harrison. Well, it's getting a nice round of applause. And I'm, Harrison Ward, as he wanted it. I put my foot in it, didn't I? So in the beginnings, but I mean, he's done what he had to do. If you're opening the batting in T20 cricket, you're making 7 consecutive boundaries at one stage, and really, I mean, it would take something dramatic for Sussex to lose this from here as James Coles makes his way out to the middle.
Look, it happens, but it's from situations like this you see it, and there's enough T20 cricket played around the world for it to happen, more than once in a blue moon. But
yes.
I don't see Sussex panicking for this, and they are loaded with batting, so they should have no problems getting over the line here. But the new batter is James Coles, who was slated to come in at number 3, but as you say, slight change in the batting order this evening.
Yes, I mean, he's batted elsewhere. He's batted 4 throughout the competition, so I wonder whether they might move James to 3, but clearly the decision made to leave James Coles where he was at 4 and promote John Simpson up the order, and so so far from a Sussex point of view, everything has come up trumps this evening.
So Allison with one more ball to go in this over, which is a wicket and 8 runs thus far, and he's going to be bowling to the new batter, who is James Coles. So Allison has got a wicket on the board, comes in now and bowls to Coles. Short delivery, which Coles swings away in the air, and it will be stopped on one bounce by the man running around from deep mid-wicket. Has to go round to deep backward square, but they come through for a couple of runs. 139 for 2, exactly 40 runs required from 9 overs for Sussex to make it 3 wins on the bounce and inflict Essex's first home defeat of this T20 Blast campaign.
Yeah, it's been a really good start for Sussex in the competition. They're 1 defeat so far. If they avoid defeat here, which they certainly ought to, came out to Glamorgan. That was a performance where Sussex just didn't get out the blocks that day, but it's been a really good start to the competition. And it's all, we've said it several times tonight, Glenn, it is all about momentum in this competition, and Surrey coming to Hove tomorrow, Sussex will feel, generally speaking, 8 wins gets you pretty near getting into a quarter-final, and Sussex will feel after tonight that maybe they're halfway to those wins, but there's still an awful long way to go in this competition. As Simpson waits and hammers the ball away through the offside, picks up a single. He goes to 21, the total to 140 for 2. Aaron Beard is bowling from the Graham Gooch end of the ground.
Hampshire Middlesex has ended with a no result this evening. Middlesex got to 113 for 8 in the 17th over, but then the rain came. Surrey are heading towards victory against Gloucestershire. They need 15 more from 2 overs with 5 wickets in hand.
You'd have thought they should do it. Just looking at Duckworth Lewis here, just talking about rain. Duckworth Lewis is 94, so Sussex are ahead on that, as you would expect. As he goes, Beard bowls, pulled away by Coles, back to the square on the leg side. It's going to race away for a couple of runs. Throw comes in, but Coles is comfortably back for the second. He goes to 4, and Sussex to 142 for 2.
And that 5-over game down at Taunton. In the 4th over there, Somerset have reached 48 for 3. Had a long break for rain there, but it's cleared up enough for them to get a game on against Kent. Essex off to Kent next Friday.
Beard running towards us. Bowl short, pulled away by James Cole. It's going to be a single on this occasion. Backwards square on the leg side. 1 more to Coles. He goes to 5, 143 for 2. And well, you get the feeling that really the game is up here as far as Essex are concerned. It would take something quite extraordinary for Sussex to lose from here. 143 for 2. Simpson on 21, Coles on 5, and it was all really about the power play as far as Sussex were concerned. Beard around the wicket bowls to Simpson, who looks to play that in the offside, and it's a dot ball. Simpson wanders away towards square leg, then does a bit of gardening.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because at the midway stage, we probably thought about even Stevens, didn't we?
Yeah,
we looked at the average
did.
first inning scores here at Chelmsford. We looked at the way that Essex have bookended their innings in that, with a good comeback from Sussex in the middle of the game as well. And you think, well, just around about 180, that probably looks about even. But Sussex have made absolute mincemeat of this target.
No, they have. Beard again around the wicket bowls. Simpson pulls onto the leg side and picks up a single to deep backward square. Simpson goes to 22. Sussex to 144 for 2. Tamal Mills said at the toss that, generally speaking, this season in the 2 games, the side batting second had won under the light. So he was very pleased to sort of won the toss and given Sussex that option. But you're right, I mean, that was I don't think I've seen a power play like that. 86, no. The ball was just disappearing all around the ground. Beard over the wicket bowls to Coles, who with a play and a miss. Ball goes through, taken by Rosington, and it's a dot ball. It is the end of the over. The end of the 12th over, and Sussex are 144 for 2. James Coles on 5, John Simpson on 22. Sussex needing 35 to win in 8 overs.
Yeah, I mean the DLS is 103, so that tells you how well Sussex have done, because they're at 144, and a few more people just get up and start to head for the exit. The thing is at Chelmsford, you can walk around and you can see the action from behind the stands, so you can head towards the exit and then just hover around and just watch the end of the game if you really want to. Or it might be just people diving back to the cars, or maybe thinking actually we could catch that train 20 minutes earlier if we go now and get home a bit earlier. Ben Allison is in and bowling to Simpson, who's 22 not out. That strikes the pads, but bowling right arm around to a left-hander. It's optimistic, the shout for LBW. And in the event, a leg bye isn't signalled anyway, so there must have been a bit of bat on it as well. 145 for 2, the Sussex score. 34 more runs required, and unlike in the power play and slightly beyond that with Messrs Ward and Hughes at the wicket, Sussex aren't in any hurry to get this one done, because they know the hard work has been done. They don't need to do anything.
No, they don't.
Allison into Coles, who's 5 not out so far. Slower ball, whipped, oh, and dropped. Whipped away and dropped by the man at wide mid-wicket. Straight to him, really.
Yeah, it was a chance.
And he should be catching that. That's Paul Walter there, and he slaps the ground in absolute frustration and examines the tips of his fingers, because that should have been taken and it should have been caught, and he knows as well.
Yeah. As it was in the air, wasn't it, from James Johnson? Clipped away through mid-wicket. He's a tall man, Paul Walter, but he'll feel he should have caught that.
So as an escape, they took a single as well, just to rub a little bit of salt into the wounds. 146 for 2, full delivery from Allison into Simpson, turns that one into the onside. They come through for another single, 147 for 2. Walter will be livid with himself. He's still examining his hands, so it clearly didn't go into the palms of his hands. He just hasn't got his hands in the right position. It came quite quickly, but as you say, he's a tall man, so it wasn't like it was massively above his head or anything. It was one where he had to turn the fingers skywards, but you'd expect him to take it.
But it's a strange game, isn't it, Glenn? 111 for 1, Essex were after 11, and we were thinking, 200, almost minimum from Essex.
Allison into Coles, and Coles swings and swings long and swings high and swings for 6. 152 for 2. A further 27 runs required for victory.
Yeah, I don't know how many 6s that is in the innings. David might be able to tell us, but it's umpteen. How many? 9 6s. Thank you, David. That's very kind.
It feels like more.
It does feel like more, actually. I thought David was going to say about 13 or something.
Feels like more.
It does feel like more.
153 for 2, so it's actually 26 required. Allison comes in and bowls to Coles. Slower ball, and Coles just steers that one behind square on the onside and jogs through for the single. 154 for 2. One more ball of the 13th over to go.
My mathematical ability doesn't extend to sort of working out run rates and all that sort of thing on what's best, but in this situation I think it's probably, if Sussex can get there for 2 wickets down, they'll feel it. Well, it's job done because they've got the points, but if they can get a good run rate as well out of this, they'll feel it's been a highly satisfactory night's work.
Well, their current run rate is 12.
Wow.
That's what they're going at this evening. Allison around the wicket to Simpson, who drives all the way along the carpet out to long on and jogs through for another single. 155 for 2. 11 from that Ben Allison over. He's 1 for 26 from his 3 though, which is a tidy enough effort, but the trouble is the ball's been disappearing to all parts, no matter who has the ball in his hands, and that's just been the problem. And the fact they couldn't get rid of Ward or Hughes up front in that power play, that's where all the damage was done. And since then, Essex have been chasing and chasing and striving, but not looking like they're going to take a clutch of wickets to get themselves back into this game. I think this is one probably to write up at the back of the book and forget about it.
Yeah, and these things can happen in T20 cricket. I mean, credit to Sussex, who've fought back well. As I say, Essex were going so nicely, 111 for 1. Sussex performed well in the field, and that power play really almost won the game for Sussex. But these things happen, you never know. It could be Essex's day tomorrow, and Sussex will be delighted to start the competition with 4 out of 5. Paul Walters coming in from the Graham Gooch end, left arm over the wicket, bowls to Simpson, who drives the ball down the ground and picks up a single. Does John Simpson, who goes to 26, 156 for 2. Well, Sussex, they need another 23 to win, and we've still got another 6 overs and 5 balls remaining in the match. And most of the spectators, to be fair, have stayed until the end of the game, huddled up again. There's a guy down there in shorts. Can you believe that?
No, to be perfectly honest.
He must be frozen.
Mind you, there was someone eating ice cream.
Yes, I saw that as well. Oh, he's a braver man than I am. Walters looking to make a change in the field before he comes into bowl to the right-handed James Coles. 3 men saving, 1 on the offside, 1 on the leg. And Walter is on his way. Around the wicket bowls, James Coles steps away to the leg side and then just dabs the ball through mid-wicket, picks up another single. Coles, he goes to 14, the total to 157 for 2. Sussex next in action at tomorrow night. It's a sellout down at Hove when Surrey will be coming down the M23, looking for revenge, no doubt, from the very comprehensive victory that Sussex had last week up at the Oval. Let's hope the weather plays ball, as it has done here tonight. Walter waits at the end of his run. It's got 3 grey now, but I think we're going to be okay. Walter over the wicket bowls, and Simpson drills that one away on the leg side. That's going to race away for a couple of runs. There's some chases round and fields, but it's 2 more to John Simpson, who goes to 28, 159 for 2. Is that Essex's next game at Kent, were you saying, Glenn?
So they've got Hampshire here next Thursday, and then Kent next Friday.
Okay.
That's the next couple of games. They've got a little bit of a break between matches just to catch their breath.
Yeah, no, that's very much the way of T20. There's Paul Walter. Short, pulled away by John Simpson, and that's going to go for 4 runs. It was really too short from Paul Walter, and he looks pretty dispirited, to be honest. It was just pulled away by Simpson through mid-on for 4 runs. And Sussex, well, I don't mean to say it as if it's gloating, because it isn't, but it is a reality. They are cantering to victory here at the moment.
They've made it look remarkably easy, and Essex will just look back at 111 for 1 after 10 overs and say, well, what the heck happened from that point onwards? Why did we not get over 200? And it's another mid-innings collapse for the 2nd successive Friday.
Walter in, bowls to Simpson, who plays that back to Walter, who fields of his own bowling. There is no run. So 163 for 2, Simpson on 32, Coles is on 14. We've got this ball and then another 6 overs to be bowled.
I don't think we'll need all of them.
So it's pretty academic at the moment.
And you would say as well the bowling of McAndrew, Coles, who bowled really well in the middle of that Essex innings, and Mills at the end.
Yeah. Walter in again, bowls, and Simpson clips this one away on the leg side and picks up another comfortable single. He goes to 33 at the end of the over. Sussex are 164 for 2, and a rather demoralised Paul Walter takes his jumper and cap from the umpire. So Sussex needing just another 15 runs to win here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Essex. Thanks for joining us for commentary tonight at Chelmsford. I'm Adrian Harms, Glenn Speller and Paul Newton with us as well this evening.
Well, John Simpson very quietly, he's hit 196, very quietly he's got himself to 33 not out, and has batted very, very well since he came in. Essex have gone through their various bowling changes, but haven't been able to find someone who's going to take 2 or 3 wickets in quick succession, as Ben Allison is back on from the Sir Alistair Cook end and concedes, well, he doesn't concede, we won't count to him, but a leg by. 165 for 2 is the Sussex score. 14 further runs required for a very, very big win here against Essex. And just to, I think, emphasise how good a side they are, Sussex, making it 3 wins on the bounce as well. Look good on this evidence.
They look really good tonight.
Allison turns in and bowling to Coles. And Coles gets a big under edge on that one. Is called through by Simpson for a single. Coles, as is the batters want these days, if it doesn't come off the middle, you're examining your bat as if to say, well, that's your fault, not mine. 166 for 2. To say the majority of the crowd have stuck in here.
Yeah, they have. They have. But, you know, it's been disappointing from an Essex point of view, and I know people here would have wanted Essex to have won, but there's been some pretty entertaining hitting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've seen the ball fly to all parts. You've seen wickets go down as well. So everyone's got their money's worth. Allison kicks up his heels once again into the left-handed Simpson. That's a full delivery. Just dies on Simpson at the end, but he jabs the bat down on it. Comes through for a single, 167. I don't want those baseball knuckleballs just die at the last second on the batter.
A couple of nice messages come in. Ollie Robinson's daddy, and he said, sorry to hear you're feeling the cold and having to put your anorak on. Ian is sitting in Florida watching and listening in 34 degrees. Yeah, thanks, Ian.
My heart bleeds.
Yeah. Well, the Sussex batting has sort of warmed us up a little, Ian. Thanks for getting in touch.
Allison in and bowls, and Coles hits that one straight to mid-on,
dropped it.
Where Jordan Cox drops the ball and then throws the ball in, hits the stumps, it bounces away beyond the man who's backing up, and they come through for a single. 168 for 2. I mean, it's an absolute dolly to Jordan Cox. Yes, it just drops slightly in front of him, but it's straight to him. And he drops it out, first ball for naught, and he's dropped a dolly as well. That's an evening Jordan Cox won't want to remember either. 168 for 2, another 11 runs required.
Totally. So not just one. Yeah, I mean that was it. It rather sums up Essex's day. I mean, you know, these things happen, don't they? But it's been a bad day at the office for Essex.
Well, they do, but they won't want too many more like this. So 11 more required. Allison round the wicket into the left-handed Simpson. Steps away from his wicket and hammers that away into the onside. There won't be 2 there. As the ball is thrown in from the boundary, they take a single. 169 for 2. Ben Allison's going to tidy up quite nicely here, actually. One more ball to go. 1 for 30 so far from him, so not disgraced himself. And had one dropped by Paul Walter as well. 2 catches put down by Essex this evening.
Yeah. The Sussex catching was good, actually, wasn't it? Apart from that early chance that went down in the slips.
Here's Allison in to Coles. Coles waits for that one. Oh, and there's a misfield extra cover now. And it goes under the man there, and they come through for a single. Benkenstein it was who couldn't get to that. So the score moves to 170 for 2. So I'll leave Paul to come in alongside Adrian for the denouement of this game.
Well, we've had one message from a dad of a Sussex fast bowler. That was Ian Robinson, Ollie's dad, who's over in Florida. We've got another one here from Jofra Archer's stepdad, who's watching over in Barbados. And he says, I've now got home from work and I see Sussex are in a strong position. I'll just enjoy the finish of the game. So, Patrick, lovely to hear from you over in, I'm sure, a sunny and warm Barbados. Certainly warmer than here at Chelmsford, but the Sussex cricket has certainly warmed us up here tonight. It's been tremendous stuff. 170 for 2. 9 runs needed for victory. It's going to be Benkenstein who's going to come in to bowl his second over, bowling to the right-handed James Coles as Sussex close in on their 4th victory out of 5. Benkenstein in short, pulled away by Coles. In fact, he doesn't time that at all, and the ball rather dribbles down to mid-on. He picks up a single Coles. He goes to 17, and Sussex to 171 for 2.
And possibly even better news for Sussex is that Surrey-Gloucester at the Oval has surprisingly ended in a tie.
Wow.
With Surrey, who needed 15 off the last 2 overs, only scoring 14, losing 4 wickets in those 2 overs. It was a run out off the last ball, I'm just hearing from Glenn. Scores tied, point each.
Benkinston bowls to Simpson, plays that into the offside. There is no run. Well, Surrey will be at Hove tomorrow, and Sussex, we'll have to see how this affects the group, but we'll have to see how Somerset get on first. But it goes Simpson, he absolutely belts that down the ground, over long off. That has gone many a mile. What a shot by John Simpson. Absolutely hammers that over mid-off for 6 runs. And as Glenn was saying, John Simpson's gone quietly about his business here. He goes to 41. That's a huge blow. And Sussex now just need 2 to win. And as I say, we don't wish to gloat because we're guests here at Chelmsford tonight, but this has been a mighty, mighty impressive performance by Sussex.
Well, you're entitled to gloat, that's for sure. This has been a wretched night from an Essex point of view, and Essex have won, I think you were saying, the previous 4 matches between the sides, so Sussex have really gained their revenge here tonight. A terrific blow from Simpson.
Benkenstein comes in, 2 more needed to win, pulled away by John Simpson, and they are the winning runs. John Simpson finishes 45 not out. Sussex have won comprehensively here by 8 wickets. It's a tremendous performance with 4 overs and 4 balls remaining. I think that's right. We'll get 4 overs and 2 balls remaining. Sussex have won. They've chased down the 179 needed to win. Handshakes all round. The Essex players understandably looking disappointed as they shake hands with the Sussex players, but nonetheless very much Sussex's night. And I think, to be honest, Paul, we can always put the game into 2 contexts here. Essex being 111 for 1 in the 11th and not really, well, not pressing home their advantage at all, and then that Sussex power play, which was something else really.
No, absolutely. There wasn't that much in it actually after 4 overs. Even though Sussex had got away to a very good start, but then in fact after 5 overs there was only about 5 runs in it, but it was that last over of the power play from Daniel Sams. I think we said it went for 32 runs, and you just knew then that unless Sussex imploded in an even more dramatic way than Essex did, in declining from 111 for 1 to 178 for 9, but they never looked in the least bit likely to implode. And Essex, just to top off their misery, they put 2 catches down that really should have been